Okay, perfect. So, as you're aware, a session is being recorded. We can get that out to you as well if you need to go back over anything. And I will get these slides out to you at the end. Today's session, it's a more bite-sized session, so a quicker one than what I usually would do. Just so you're aware, this one focuses, it will briefly go over project implementation, how to actually get registered, that kind of thing. But it'll place more emphasis on actually looking at certain systems for proxy medication ordering. And I'll explain why in a second. Specifically, this session will be looking at two different systems. But I do a longer session as well, which goes much more detail into how to get started, the implementation journey, as opposed to actually using the systems themselves. But this one will have more emphasis on actually using the systems to order medications. So how you actually log in for the first time, etc. So this system today, and I can see we got people using EMR in here today. Yeah, I can see paper miles, perfect, no worries. So today's system looks at obviously proxy medication ordering, and the two systems I will be focusing on are TPP, also known as System 1, and EMIS, also known as Patient Access. And the reason that I'm using those two is from all the research that we've done, and myself having worked with proxy ordering support for years now. We find that GP practices, they often will operate mainly with those two. Now, there are other systems, but those are the two main ones that we are encountering. And it's quite rare you'll get the other systems that they set up for you. So this one will look at, as I said, TPP, System 1, and EMIS, Patient Access. So if that is not relevant to you at all, if you will not be using those, as I said, there is one called microtest as well. And if you're using that, I won't be going through that today. But if it isn't relevant to you, just so you know right now before I get started. The session aims to be around half an hour, so we'll end about 11:30. I will open for any questions. But as I say, the first part of this session, I will quickly go through some content which I will go through in much more detail in other sessions that I offer. If you do request that presentation, I can also send that one to you as well. So it's got all the resources in there. So proxy ordering, as we know, ordering medication on behalf of a patient. And to start with proxy ordering, obviously we need project implementation. So you need to be in a good position in order to do that. So in this slide, I've added some information in there. Now, the slides I'm using, they were originally produced by NHSX. I used to work closely with them. They provided me slides and I was given permission to circulate these. I have made changes to these as well. But I have referenced on the slides where the information is coming from as well. And a lot of the information I use is directly from the NHS England website as well. So all updated content, I've checked it through. So product implementation, obviously, these are all best practice. We suggest that you nominate a lead for the care home. And obviously, there are three parties involved in proxy ordering. You've got the care home, GP practice, pharmacy. So it's very important that you're working closely with the GP practice or GP surgery. The reason for that is because they are the ones who will be setting up the system to give you access to the patient records on the system. Without them, you will not be able to proceed with having proxy ordering. You can't do it on your own. The GP has to be involved. Now, I will give you a sheet at the end, which goes into detail the step-by-step process. But I'm not going to go into too much detail today on that. So I actually want to show you how to use the systems. Now, obviously, again, best practice, ensure all parties are familiar with the ordering process. Everyone knows what to do. And one thing we also say is walk through that process with your care home for at least 2 cycles. So face-to-face teams. So again, you can implement training how you're doing that just so people are confident doing it. They've also put in here, just as regular practice, just having meetings with the GP practice. And if it is a case for you, community pharmacy, but especially the GP. So they are on board, you're communicating effectively. To implement this, you do need to share consent forms, and that can delay the whole process if there isn't good communication there in implementing proxy ordering. Now, I've just included some roles and responsibilities on here. So this is just for this one's for pharmacists, pharmacy technicians. It's recommended best practice. They set up proxy access for all residents. Now, we'll say this: every region differs. So this is just best practice. It might not be relevant for you. Do not worry. Again, that's where you need to make that communication plan to begin with. But I won't go into too much detail. I don't want to overcomplicate that aspect of it for you today. So, role of the care home staff. So, care homes should retain responsibility for ordering medications from the GP practice. We also recommend that you give protected time in order to order the medications. So, it's getting done, and to check medicines are being delivered to the home. And we also say at least 2 members of staff have the training and skills to order the medication, because you're not always going to have the 1 member of staff ordering medication in the care home. They might be on annual leave, they might be off sick, they might be unavailable. So it's important that you have someone else there who can step in. We found that care homes that don't have 2 members of staff trained and equipped to do this will often revert back to the old way of ordering. We have numerous case studies which showcase that using proxy ordering significantly reduces the time to order medications. There's one, and it was just a small care home, used to take 3 days to order medications, to go through the whole ordering process. They've now managed to narrow that down to just an hour using proxy ordering, saving time and money. So really quickly, when you do order medication, requests can take up to 48 hours to process at the GP practice. So don't panic if it's been a day and you haven't heard anything. It can take 48 hours. So if you haven't heard anything, 48 hours, that's when you can check in. That way it just saves phone calls and unnecessary communication there. And also, care providers working towards DSPT standards met, currently approaching standards for minimal data security providers. Important that you are DSPT registered in order to have proxy ordering. If you need any support with DSPT, we can help you with that. We provide that support for free, and I'll leave some contact details at the end of this session today. So again, just really quickly, as I go into much more detail in other sessions, and this isn't the purpose of today, but GP practices role for prescribed medications. So they'll have their own named GP lead. They need to ensure that all residents' addresses are updated. So that is their job in the clinical system, and the address is formatted the same. They need to ensure practice secure email addresses shared, and they will authorize medication requests as per online medication policy. So that's just their role. So everyone is clear on this one. And then there's a table here. Again, you can refer back to this. It just has all of the key roles of each person involved in this process. So what I really want to get into today is actually how to set up proxy access once you've gone through all the consent forms with the GP surgery, once you've gone through the initial implementation journey, and then what you do from there, dependent on the system you're using. So we're going to start off with looking at System 1, also known as TPP. So what will happen is the GP practice will set up the proxy access. So this slide just goes into just some detail. For instance, staff must understand online access and treat the patient's information as confidential. Staff must be responsible for the security of any of the information, and they must contact the GP practice if they suspect the account has been accessed without the patient's agreement. And they must contact the GP practice if they see information in the record is not about the patient or is inaccurate. So it's the care home staff's responsibility to contact GP practice if anything's out of place on there. And also you are responsible for the security. Now, there is a staff form here. So that adds access or removes access. I've included that in the slide, so you can literally just click on this. It'll take you through to the care home staff proxy access request, which you would go through. Now, I've included an infographic at the end of this slide, which details every single step on the whole journey. But I'm not going to go through that today, as that is an entirely separate session that I do run. So using System 1, also known as TPP. So again, the GP practice will choose the system. They will set up the system for you. They will add the patient record on there. They will then give you the login details. And that's where you will then go ahead and follow through this process if you're using that system. So logging in for the first time, you just need to enter username, passwords from the email that you receive. So you will get an email down from the GP practice. You just need to enter the username and email in there. So got an example on the screen here of an email and password that's been sent through. You'll also get an account ID and a passphrase. So you need to hold this information. Once you've entered the details, it will then prompt you to change your password. So you need to go through and change that password right at the beginning. Once you've changed the password, you will then need to log in with those new details. And again, to do that, you just need to go to System 1 website. I've got that actually here, so you can see more up to date what that looks like. This is System 1, and the login is here. So you just enter your login details and you just click login. So once you've logged in, you will have a full list displayed of residents in the care home you're requesting medication for. So you'll see the care home, and then below that will be listed all of the residents that are on the system, have been added to the system by the GP practice. So how do you actually view a patient's record? So you just need to select on the record you want to view. So you just literally click on the patient. It will give you then several options at the top of the screen. It's quite small on my screen right now, so don't worry, but it's got appointments, medication, reports, accounts. So you can go records and account. You can click on these. It'll take you through that full patient record. You can go through all the different areas such as medication, records, whatever it might be. Now, in this case, we will be ordering medication. So you would click on medication. So again, going right back to start, log in, select your patient, click medication. It will then display the medications that you can order for the residents. They'll be displayed in a list. So you'll have existing medication. You'll also have custom requests. So you'd click on request existing medication, and then you can choose the medication you need to order them. So you just simply click it, and then you just click continue. Now, if you need to make a custom request, you would obviously select custom request, and then you type out the custom request here, which would go through to the practice for them to accept or decline. And again, you just continue. So very straightforward. I've almost heard it be described as almost like online shopping, where you're just adding the medication to a basket and then clicking continue or accept. So yeah, very simple. And this one just goes through custom requests as well. So you just need to write whatever you need to put in there if it's a custom request. So once you've clicked continue, you just need to select and confirm. So on this screen, you can print off a confirmation to store in your record or save it. And then once you're done, you can just return to medication. So really straightforward system. Once you've gone through the process of setting up, you literally just log in, seal the patients, click the patient, choose medication, and then you go through and you can order medication however it needs to be done. And as I say, you can make custom requests on there. But to then go to the next patient, you just go back to the home menu, and then you just click on view alternative patient. Again, you can't see it very well here, but there is an option that says account. So under account, it says view alternative patient. So you'll see it there. Just click there, and then you go through the whole process again with the next patient. Now, I will highlight, I have had queries where some people were encountering an issue with Sometimes there were timeouts, not this system, but the next one. They are being looked into. I have checked with both System 1 and EMIS to see what the latest on there. There are known issues around timeouts, but it is something they are working on. So if it's something you encounter, don't panic. Just resume the process again. But that is literally how you order medication on there. So just to recap, you'll get an email from the practice with login details. You go to the TPP System 1 website, and then you simply put the login details in, change your password, log in, select your patient, and then from there, medication, and you can then go ahead and order the medicine. So it's that simple. Now, with EMIS, we'll go through this one, also known as patient access. So again, different names. So it's EMIS and patient access. That is what this one is. Same thing, you will get some details sent through by the healthcare provider, GP practice, GP surgery. So they are the ones who will set up the system. You will then receive an email from them with some information. So the information that you receive will look something like this. You'll have the link to the website, and then you'll have a linkage key. You have the ODS code and an account ID. So all the information will be contained in there. I've also included a user guide to ordering medication using EMIS on here as well, which you can click on and follow through step by step. Now, the first thing you need to do is to register for online patient access. Again, using those details. If more than one GP practice treats your residents, you will need to set up at each GP practice. So that's a very important point to make here. Some care homes will have multiple GP practice, normally much larger ones we encounter. And in that case, they will have separate accounts set up at each GP practice with the patients that are registered at those practices. So you would need to go into, you would have multiple logins in that case. But just if it's just everyone operating off one practice, again, you just have that one login. But they would send you through the details as emails. So it'd be nice and straightforward process. Now, you will visit patient access. Again, I have that one on the screen so I can show you what that looks like. So this is the patient access website. Again, I've got the link in the slide. And you would just click up here at the top right-hand corner to register. And then you can either, they now have integrated that you can continue with NHS login, but if you are not using NHS Mail, you're using a different secure email, you'd then go through and enter in all the relevant details here, and then you'd click continue. So once you've entered in the relevant details and click continue, you then need to enter again, if you're not doing it by NHS Mail, which was at the top, you would then enter in your secure accredited email, and then you would enter a password in there. It will prompt you as to the password it will accept, so it will be quite a strong password you need to put in there, but it will tell you how to do that. And then you just need to accept the terms and conditions and click create account. So very similar to any registration process on really any website these days. You just fill in the details and then you just click create account. So to create your patient access following the online instructions we've got here, you just need to enter a few more details. So again, just follow it on the screen, just follow the details you need to enter. And then you need to enter, again, just the information you need to create a password, enter in your individual secure work email, as we said before, accept the terms and conditions, add a memorable word. So make sure you remember that. A lot of people make a memorable word, they don't remember it, and then they have to go through a whole lengthy process to recover their account if they don't know how to log in anymore. But again, I won't go too much detail. It's very self-explanatory. You just go to the website, click register, and follow it through. Now, there is a issue that we have encountered with the registration process for patient access. And we've included a slide in here on that. Sometimes you'll put your email in there and you'll get a message pop up saying the email is already registered. Now, What you would do, either use an alternative email address. So again, it has to be secure accredited or NHS Mail. Or if you haven't done it, you don't have an alternative email, you don't know why this message is coming up, you can submit a request to delete your account off of the system. So then it will work again, but it can take about 24 hours. So all you need to do on the patient access website is go to contact support. You then just fill in the form on the screen. And an email is then sent to the email address with a link to delete your account. Now, again, that link will only last 24 hours. So go into your email once you've submitted the form, click the link, it will delete your account off the system, and then you can just go back to register with patient access, and you shouldn't get that error again. But that's only to those who encounter the error, and I've popped that in there for your support. So you've registered for patient access. How do you actually link it to your GP practice? So this is where you'll be using the information the GP practice or your healthcare provider sent through to you. So again, you then log into patient access, and in the top right-hand corner, you just click on your name. And then on the left, you'll see there's an option that says link your GP practice. So you just click on that, and then you simply follow the instructions. So you pop in the postcode for the practice, and that's when it would then prompt you to enter the details the practice sent you in the email. So the linkage key and the account ID. So straight from the email that you received before, you pop those in there. It is case sensitive, so you need to make sure that you put in the capital letters and lowercase in correctly. Again, it's an issue that's been encountered where people aren't popping it in exactly as it's formatted. So again, case sensitive, you need to make sure that linkage key and account ID are entered into the correct boxes as they are displayed. So once you've done that, you just pop in some personal details and then click continue. And then that will link the GP practice, and you'll then have access to the patient record to order medication. So to order medications, you just need to click on your name again, top right-hand corner, and then you'll see an option that says linked users, which will appear on the screen, and it will show all of the residents, patients that you can order medications for. And just like in System 1 TPP, you just select the resident patient, and then you go through to the options. So you can see their appointments, or you can see medication requests. Very simply laid out. There isn't too much on the screen. You just click on medication requests. And then from there, very simple, you just simply click the plus symbol to add medications to the basket for that patient or resident. Once you've done that, it's almost like a shopping basket at the side of the screen. You can click the X to delete them off. Once you're happy with that, you just click request medications. Now, you can also review approved or rejected. So it will be approved or rejected by the practice. So you can review that. And to do that, you just again log in, click on your username, and then you can click on requests. It will show on the screen, as you can see. You've got the option of requests. And as I say, everything's very simply laid out, so you can identify quite quickly. And under requests, you can see all of your pending requests. And you can also see if they've been approved or rejected. Approved, it will show as green, rejected, red, and you'll often get a reason as to why it's been rejected. And then you can go through and action it however it needs to be actioned. But it's a real time, up to date. And again, it saves time because you're getting that, you're getting those rejections and approved status through that you can then action rather than waiting days and days and days of not hearing anything. You can also cancel a medication request. So again, really useful. It gives you more control here. All you do is you just go to repeat medication at the side of the screen. And then on the screen, you simply just go to requests again. You just go into your request. And from there, you can click cancel request. And again, you just pop a reason in there. Maybe it was an error, or whatever it might be, or maybe the patient is or resident is no longer in the care home, or maybe they've gone into hospital. And again, you just put the message in there and then cancel confirm cancellation. And that just saves money on wasted medication. And once you've done, you'll get a confirmation that it's been cancelled. So it gives you much more autonomy over your day-to-day in ordering medications, but very simple. As I say, these systems, the two websites, once you've gone through the whole initial registration process of getting all the consent forms, walking through them with the practice, you will then and I can get that, I'll get that infographic sent out as well to you. It's a 10-step process which shows the whole process before you get to this stage that I've showed you today. But you need to get all those consent forms done. Once everything's gone through, the GP practice will then set up the system, depending on which one they're using, maybe system 1, again, maybe patient access. And depending on which one they set up, you will then receive an email with your login details, or in the case of EMIS, which we've just looked at, your linkage key to link the practice. And you simply just click on the website link in the email and then register. So it's very simple. And once you're on there, as you saw, ordering medication, it's all in there, and you just click it and everything's laid out very nicely. But let's say that is more of a bite-sized session today. What I have included is I've included the website to the Sussex Digital team, which is who I am currently working with, and Nada as well. We have loads on there, so it isn't just proxy ordering that we offer. We offer lots of things digital, and also DSPT support. You do have to have DSPT in order to have proxy access. And again, if you need support with that, please reach out. We can offer you that support free. And you can also book onto future sessions. So I've included the Eventbrite link where you can look at all our other events. Now, as I say, I do much more in-depth sessions on the actual starting process for implementing proxy ordering. So going through all of those consent forms, communication plans, getting everything, the foundations laid down before we even get to the stage that we looked at today. I've also included my email in there, so please do reach out to me if you need any support. But as I said, we will get this slide deck out to you, but I'm also going to accompany it with a slide deck that will support you with the initial implementation journey and give you that step-by-step process before we even get to the stage that we've looked at today. The reason for today's session is because quite often a lot of people need support with actually using the system once the GP practice has sent through the login details. They don't know how to get it registered, set up, and they don't know how to go through and order medication. But very simple. That is everything from me today. So Nada, is there anything else that